Hello everyone. I welcome back everyone to Beyond Injury Time again. And yes, post the international break, we are almost completed with Game Week 9, and we had a couple of very important and good fixtures this particular game week, and one of them was Chelsea versus Arsenal, the North London derby at
London Derby, not North.
London derby, not the North London derby. Okay, the London derby at Stamford Bridge, and we had another derby, lesser important, but still a derby,
That's
which is Liverpool versus Everton. I'm itching to talk about that game. And okay, so let's begin our discussions. From the game at Stamford Bridge. So, how many of you guys watched it, man? I thoroughly enjoyed that game and the Arsenal comeback and whatever. But
Then was
why?
the full game that time.
whatever
Yeah.
was the correct.
So what did you make of that game, Abhay? I mean, I know it's a cliched question. What did you make of that? But I wanted to I want to pitch forward a question to you rather than just asking you about the game. Is that did you think that Arsenal played like a team that will challenge for the title come the end of the season? I want to start the proceedings with that game, with that
Yeah.
question. Yeah.
First half probably was if not it was one of the worst performances I've seen of the season. The first half was horrendous, and I would like to blame the players, but I would also like to blame the manager. You see that they have a physical midfield in Gallagher, who's a proper workhorse, and you have Caicedo out there, and you decide to put Jorginho and Odegaard in the midfield. Like, what are you thinking? You can put one of them, but you cannot put both of them. Right? And to be fair to Chelsea, they executed their plans to perfection, except for the part which involved finishing, because they made it really difficult for us through the center. But to be very honest, the second half, we like till almost 65 minutes we were 2-0 down and we made a comeback. So that's if you're not winning, at least you're not losing. And people say, yeah, Chelsea are bad and whatnot, but if you have seen recently, and you would have realized that Chelsea are bad at defending. That's what it is. But in terms of gameplay and whatnot, they should have been winning more matches. In fact, just based on your XG results or X points or whatever you want to call it, they should have been in the third position. So I actually believe that they were in a false position in the first place. But yeah, I would say if we played like the way we played in the first half, if it's a one-off, it's all right. But if this is how we are going to continue, we do not we should not have the privilege to be called as title challenges.
That's a pretty. I mean, that's the perfect assessment of the game. I mean, I share similar thoughts here, because I guess until Rice scored that goal, right? I mean, I'm glad he had the balls to take the shot from there. I mean, just attempt that, because people may think that acha, it was a fluke, he just took it. But the thing is that there are very rare people that actually attempt those shots while you are leading, because if you miss it, that attack is gone, and Chelsea get Chelsea get to start play again.
Yeah, I actually think that to be very fair, I know I'm an Arsenal fan, but to be very fair, Chelsea dominated us in the first half, and if they had better finishers, the game would have ended way before. But they have shit finishers, and that's what it is. Mudryk, I mean, one was a penalty. Cole Palmer scored. Good goal by him. Second was a Mudryk cross come shot or whatever you want to call it. So there was a very good chance of actually Nicholas Jackson in the second half, which should have been a goal. So if you see the goals they've scored, they're goals that ideally were questionable. Like even the first one, it was a penalty that could have gone either way because of the arms of Saliba. But it could have gone either way. But I would also like to point out that I'm pretty sure that PG Mole is going to come out with an apology, because statements are already running around with respect to a penalty that should have been awarded to Arsenal. But here's the thing: the good teams, the title talented teams do not, even if there is apology, they still win, right? So that is where my biggest concern is. I still think, right? I still think that we could have won. I know on the paper it looks very different, but we could have won if the decisions were fair. But when you look at the cities and the Liverpools when they won the title, they had decisions go against them. Then also they won. That is my biggest gripe, right? And I genuinely believe this Chelsea team, if they had a good finisher, they would have it would have been a massacre because they were causing us a lot of problems. And to be fair, Pochettino did have Arteta's number this time for sure, very sure, because he had nullified Odegaard, who was our creative outlet, and for some reason, maybe it was to prevent injury or whatnot.
But why did you think that is? Why? I mean, yeah, we also saw that. Yes, I mean, you were mostly trying to survive off that first half, right? But why did you think that problem was? Were Arsenal not up for it? I don't think it was a lack of commitment.
No, it was not a lack of commitment, but it was the wrong personnel in midfield, and that's where we lost it because we were losing. There was only Declan Rice was the physical presence who was trying to win the balls and whatnot. And to be fair to him, kudos to him because he looked the only person on the pitch, along with a certain Bukayo Saka who had a bad game by his standard. He had a bad game in general, but they were trying to create something even when the chips were down. The others, the heads were down. When I looked at Odegaard, he's the club captain. You're supposed to perform better. And you just have your head down. It's like you cannot be like when I have a bad game, it's a 3, and when I have a good game,
What
it's a
happened
9.
to Partey? Did he get injured again?
No, he did not. He did not play him. So he played Jorginho, thinking that we would control
Love
the
affair with Jorginho keeps on.
Yeah. Jorginho, and which is surprising because the last time the goal that came was a Partey cross to Tomiyasu. So
Correct.
This time though, he bought Tomiyasu before, right? And there's another issue that is cropping up with Arsenal, wherein we bring our left backs, right? Zinchenko, he comes and inverts, and he plays great passes for us and whatnot. But our left back side is exposed then. He's not good enough to be a defending left back, right? If you put a good marauding right wing forward as Chelsea did, we are in trouble, and that's what it is. And so now that I was looking at the game, I realized that if you block us from the center, it's over for us. It's over.
They
for
had
us.
Casido and Enzo, who actually came off their international break, having played the entire 90 minutes, and Pochettino mentioned that they were tired, and yet, I mean, I don't know what Pochettino was trying to mean in the press conference. The post-match presser, he wanted to move the presser in a way that, okay, my players are injured, my players were fatigued, and we still got a point, and we played a good game, which they did. But I want to criticize Chelsea
that
more.
cannot be an
Yes,
that
exactly.
cannot be an
Manish, go ahead.
excuse, or that cannot be a reason to say that.
Correct.
The way I look at it, like for a United fan, I think the result was fair. Like we would be happy to see both the London clubs drawing. Maybe 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, I don't care. But both of you get 1 point. But if as Arsenal had won, I would have been upset. If Chelsea had won, I would have been upset as well, because somewhere down the line they might be competing for places which we are also competing. That might happen. Now, one more thing I want to ask is, like, see, this game had seen a lot of misses and a lot of mistakes as well, especially from the goalkeepers. Now, I don't know about Chelsea and Chelsea's goalkeepers. I want to surely ask Abhay about Arsenal and their goalkeeper, because this goalkeeper is not someone who was the first choice last season. Arteta specifically bought him and wanted to play out from the back, and this game was not that good for him. And there is always Ramsdale waiting on the bench. So, what do you think? Like, in the next game, what will happen?
No, he's going to play. He's going to play Raya, but that is what a lot of coaches have. It's like a love affair with them, right? But he shouldn't be just based on merit. Ramsdale should be playing because all the big games that we have played, even against Tottenham, he created a mistake, right? Even against City, it was a mistake, right? So for me, it's very simple. For me, it's very simple. For me, it's very simple that if you're a keeper at a big club, you're supposed to save shots as well, right? And he bought in Raya for one simple reason, so that he's a better player from the back, right? He's a much better player from the back.
Didn't look like it, but yeah.
And what Arteta actually keeps saying is that he wants the two first choice keepers to compete against each other so that they can actually have a competition in that spot as well, right? And if after making such mistakes also, if Ramsdale does not get a chance, does not that contradict his own statements?
Yes, so this is the thing with Arteta, right? I've realized this, that a lot of his pressers you cannot take at face value, right? A lot of things you cannot take at face value. But I've seen also this with him, that once a player creates a scar on him, as in he affects him negatively in the point section, that's when this guy understands, right? That's when this guy understands. Or else, if these are the players he's brought in, he's going to kind of back them till the hilt, which I'm not a big fan of.
That's too stubborn, man. Too stubborn.
Sometimes you, as a human, you just need to accept, oh, I bought him, but there's a player already better. Let's give him the chance on based on merit. But I've seen this for quite a long time. He gives chances to people. Okay, I want players to fight for the jersey, to give it all on the pitch. But if a player has a better level, and let's say, I know it seems against the ethos of football or whatnot, but if a player is, let's say, 10 times better, and he's giving 98%, and the other person is 10 times worse and he's giving 100%, I would still take the first person who is 10 times better, giving 98%. Because on the pitch, it's all about the results, it's all about the points. And I'm pretty sure so as he backed Holding to the hilt, and Holding was so shit. Crystal Palace has still not given him a chance. With him, the problem is he keeps backing the player who he thinks is giving 100%.
Okay, so I want to add my 2 cents on this topic. So the thing is that most managers are like that. Abhay. Most managers are stubborn. Bhai, tu agar ek manager hai, if I were a manager, I understand there is a point where you have to accept when it's actually hitting you with the results. When you're dropping points, you're on the verge of getting out of the top 4 or title race, then you make a decision. And that too, managers are so stubborn and egoistic that they will say that acha ye wala jo player hai na, he is injured or not in the right mental space. They will never accept that it is because of performances. Ye har koi manager ka hai. So that is one thing, let's keep it aside. But what I want to say is the way this goalkeeping situation was handled, which we all anticipated when Arsenal bought Raya, कि भाई 2 top class goalkeepers को कैसे manage करोगे? ये difficult है, and it was very interesting for all the other teams to watch. And as it turns out, तुम राया को when you are playing, right, you're already not putting pressure on just Ramsdale. You're actually also putting pressure on Raya. Raya has a gun over his head every time he starts. उसको पता है कि the first mistake is Ramsdale is right there sitting on the bench, and his brain is like, अरे मैं mistake कर रहा हूँ, and वो देख रहा है यार. There is a number 2 keeper who is actually should be also starting. So basically what I'm saying is, why do we say that keeper number one keeper of the team? Number 1 keeper का मतलब ये होता है कि that person should feel that मैं ही हूँ leading keeper. बाकी कप गेम्स में दूसरा कीपर खेलेगा. No team has
also पता है एक चीज
as good as the first. Never.
One thing पता है एक और चीज जो है ना,
बोल सकते हो कि हाँ भाई मतलब बोल सकते हैं ability wise he is up to the mark, but देख लिवरपूल का जो सेकंड कीपर है वो बाप है. ही इज वन लिवरपूल ट्रॉफीज, डोमेस्टिक ट्रॉफी जीता है भाई, वो 2 डोमेस्टिक ट्रॉफी जीता है. इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, कैलेगर क्या नाम है?
कोएमन कैलेहर.
Yeah. So what I just wanted to mention is that you're just adding undue pressure on the keeper. What ideally, if I were a manager, what I was thinking Arteta would have done is, by continue playing Ramsdale in the league games. The simple thing that everyone does, right? We have done it with Romero. Romero was at that time a Argentina national team keeper. And then we had Dea, who was the Spanish national team keeper. Both were at a certain level very good. So Romero ko Mourinho kept playing in all the domestic games. Europa as well वो खिलाता था और domestic में भी खिलाता था. That's why Romero respects Mourinho a lot. तो मुझे लगा कि हाँ भाई Arteta will handle it like that. But क्या हुआ, इसने रैमसडेल को बोला कि तू कुछ भी गेम नहीं खेलेगा, तू बैठेगा. और राया हर एक गेम खेलने लगा. नाउ देयर इज बाउंड टू बी फ्रिक्शन, एंड आर्टेटा in every pre-match presser gets asked कि who is going to start, Are you
Yeah,
both
yeah.
okay?
पता है एक चीज I want to say in this, and what I feel is the problem here as well. जब भी कोई अपना मैनेजर होता है ना, he buys a goalkeeper. Both of the goalkeepers are generally same profile, okay? Because in the end, your tactics has to go in sync with everything. You cannot change tactics based on goalkeeper. Goalkeeper is the most stable place. You don't have goalkeepers coming out at 60 minutes, right? So you cannot change tactics for a goalkeeper, and
Perfectly
that's the
said.
problem.
Yeah.
Even if you are playing two kind of different goalkeepers into
Yes.
like cup matches and league matches, the thing is that rest of the team is going to play with the same mindset. Even if the goalkeeper changes, it
Oh,
doesn't
by the
matter
way,
for them.
if I'm not wrong, Arteta ने ये भी बोला है कि I in some games I may sub the keeper as well at 60 minutes to answer that thought.
That is I mean I
Oh,
find it.
that is one of his ways of saying like,
Saying कि
look, I have 30,
हाँ
32 formations.
मैं हूँ
I
मैं
can use
भगवान
any
हूँ.
of my 32 formations.
Exactly,
Nice.
exactly.
मैं
Pulish
सबसे
Bhagwan
ऊपर
hai.
हूँ.
So realistically,
but I
it
have
doesn't make any sense realistically.
Doesn't make any sense.
I have a
Yeah.
very different viewpoint from you people. That's probably because I
Yeah,
support
please
the
go
Might
ahead.
team,
be, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Talking about good goalkeepers, how you talked about Liverpool, but you got to remember at one point of time, Liverpool had Mignolet and Reina together, right? And
Okay.
Menele and
Still not the same, but yeah.
no,
Probably not.
but they were good keepers. What I'm saying is good teams tend to have good keepers at times. And secondly, of course, he's trying something new. I agree to that. And every time you try something new and it doesn't work out, you're going to be criticized, which is right. But there's another point you need to take into consideration that right now the sample size is small, right? It's not that big, right? And I do believe that Arteta is trying to pressurize Ramsdale as well, because the last season he was not really good. If you start looking at it, he's done a lot of mistakes which have cost us. So he's been like, oh, this is what has cost me, so I'm going to ensure the next time it doesn't happen, right? Because the past few seasons we had a goalkeeper in the name of Ronaldo that was a second keeper who cost us heavily in Europa. Like we would have at least competed well in Europa, and the mistakes just gave away. So my thinking is it may or may not work. I'm not sure. But I do believe it's worth a shot when it's a loan with option to buy. What's the worst that can happen? If it doesn't work, you don't buy the player.
Yeah,
that's
also.
I have this thing, I mean, I just want to put 2 cents in that. The experimentation that I understand putting a pressure on a goalkeeper and all the stuff, but what happens is that in goalkeeper, you generally have this thing that once you bring in goalkeeper who is for competition, in their heads they know somebody is going to be the primary one, okay? And in almost every team, you have this thing that particular goalkeeper is going to just play and the other one is not going to play. Whereas what Arteta is saying that he's not going to do, which I feel like is just not possible because of how different both of the goalkeepers are. If Arteta is going to play one way, let's just say if he wants to play with the back, Ramsdale already know he's not good at that. So he knows he's not going to get selected.
He's
no
not
matter
the
what.
worst at that, but still.
But see, there is a different goalkeeper because he knows that his manager thinks he's not good at that.
Correct.
Okay, and it's not something he's going to develop overnight. And also, goalkeepers need time on the field. If it doesn't get that, again, it's the same problem. So it's a lose-lose kind of situation for Ramsdale, and because Arteta has not made his mind right. That he if he says that, okay, I'll just play this guy because I want to play this particular style, and until you learn this particular style, I'm not going to play you. If that's what he's going to say, probably that works. But if he's going to be this two-faced about it, it's going to be difficult.
Correct.
No, but I'm going to play a devil's advocate out here and just point it out to you that a lot of times people say that we want competition in the team, and right now he's got competition in the team. I think that's another way to look at it. And secondly, when it comes to Raya, I say he's better on the feet than Ramsdale. That doesn't mean Ramsdale is bad. I'm just saying he's much better on the feet. So let's say when we are dominating, right? When you're dominating, then Raya is a big help. Or let's say when we're not that dominating and we are on the back foot, Ramsdale could help. What I'm just saying is, okay, right now it doesn't look like a good situation, which I do agree to, and I do think he's biased towards Raya. But I would give him more time, more breathing space, wherein what happens. And to be fair to Arteta, there are a lot of games to come by in terms of cup games, and whatnot. Let's see. I would like to give him the benefit of doubt here. Though I'm not happy with the situation.
Look, I have also said this with Onana. The ball playing ability is understandable. That will come with time. What about positioning? I also questioned Onana on his saving technique when the when it's a low driven shot. Okay, it's a low shot. So matlab that looked faulty. Now, do you think the positioning of Raya for Mudrik's goal could have been better?
No, it could have been better, but the way we play, right? The way we play, it's always been aggressive. So his position might have been wrong there, but for Nicholas Jackson's chance, his position was apt. It's like sometimes it might be wrong, sometimes it might be right. But most of the times, if it is right, and once it goes wrong, you still go with that side. And if you look at Mudrik's goal, if you look at Mudrik's face, if you look at Mudrik's eyes, they were more hinted towards a cross, right? They were more hinted towards a cross.
Yeah,
I'm not saying better players can't score that kind of goals for better control over their feet, like someone like a human Son or someone. But what I'm saying is, probably 4 out of 5 times he saves that, as in he gets the ball in his hands and we go for an attack. So I mean, that one-off should not be looked at. But I do agree that for the past few games that he's played, the major games, he's not been convincing at all. He's not covered himself with glory. I do agree on that. Yeah.
So Amit, did you have anything to add?
I just wanted to say, I hope that they do not, Idea does not dig a hole for him in this number one competition
Yeah,
thing.
for Raya and himself
It
also.
seems like it seems like it can create some toxic environment in the. But I want to take it to the next side of the things and talking about Chelsea.
I do agree. I do agree because I do think that a better team with better finishers would have caused our goalkeepers more problems. Here it was self-sabotage by the goalkeeper to a large extent. And now I'm just thinking Chelsea with better finishers, my God, we would have been in trouble. For sure. And to be fair to Chelsea, their wingers did a good job. Mudryk, Raheem Sterling played really well. Right, they did a number on us. That's what it was. And I would say, if not for Rice and his movement, we would have been in big trouble. Right? If not for Rice and his movement, we would have been in big trouble. That's what it is.
Yeah. Talking about self-sabotaging goalkeepers, let's talk about Roberto Sanchez as well now. So what do you guys feel about how critical was that goal for Arsenal?
No, it was a mistake. It was a mistake from him. But I also think he had already clattered into Gabriel Jesus to catch a ball midway through the thing,
the Onana one.
Yeah, which was given a penalty.
Not that big impact probably, but
no, it was very close to that. He clattered.
It wasn't given for Onana as well, I guess.
It was given for Onana.
No.
Apology was given for Onana.
No, Wolves they got a penalty.
No, they did not get a penalty.
They got an apology, man. They got an apology.
Yeah, so we are going to get an apology again.
Yes.
So,
हाँ भाई, कौन से दुनिया में हो? Chalo, something good came out of our discussion. Thanks to the North London Derby rival.
Also, I also feel one more position where this guy came out and tried to sweep the ball and did not reach even near. I was watching this match and I was completely till the 70 minutes. I was like, this goalkeeper will fuck them.
I want to say one thing. If you observe what Abhay has been saying and what both the Abhays have been saying, rather, look, you have to give time to the keeper, and you guys may be learning it the hard way. You've been slandering Onana a lot, right? And me and Manish have been trying to defend ourselves. Ki bhai, these problems occur because
we don't have anyone in that place.
Like, defense has been really shaky, and it affects the keeper. And especially Amit has been saying this a lot. So look at Robert Sanchez and look at Raya. Both are actually in similar clubs at their respective,
similar
positions at respective clubs.
Yeah.
So both are under pressure. A lot is expected out of them. Their defense is shaky, and even though there is this Ramsdale Raya situation. So, and we saw what a good game of football can bring out of both of them, and that is errors from the keepers. So I guess we've had a good lot of questions and discussions, and I feel a lot of questions that are begging to be answered were answered by the Arsenal fan, and we understand Chelsea could have easily won that game because Arsenal looked done and dusted, and it looked like at one point they did not want to concede a third rather than score the first and come back into the game, to be honest. So yeah, that's about it from the game. But before we end, I actually wanted to mention that Beyond Injury Time completed 50 whole episodes, and
Nice.
we've completed a half century of episodes, and at
Fantastic.
it's we did not think that we'll reach here when we started. But yeah, we've been diligently delivering content to you guys, so keep supporting us, backing us. हाँ रोना तो आ रहा है. So, bye guys, see you on the other side. Bye.
Yeah.